Hi, welcome everybody. We're here for the 2023 Arbor Day, and we don't have a real big group here today, but we'll go through this and get some trees planted. My name's Kevin Green. I'm with the Park Department. I'm the superintendent, and I've got with me today Cheryl Thompson. She's the Parks and Rec Director. I got Dave Klaus over as the foreman, Josh Keener, and Matt Goldstein. They're going to help with planting these trees. They work with us also. We're going to be planting a couple trees here today that have been dedicated, and so we'll do that just shortly. I'm going to have Cheryl get ready to read the proclamation.
Well, I'm going to read a proclamation that came from the City Council and the Mayor, and it says, whereas in 1872, Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. This holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees in our city increase property value, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. Wherever they are planted, trees are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And whereas Florissant has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation and desires to continue its tree planting ways. Now, therefore, I, Timothy J. Lowry, Mayor of the City of Florissant, do hereby proclaim April 28th as Arbor Day. In the City of Florissant, we urge all citizens to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands and to support our city's urban forestry program. I further encourage all citizens to plant trees to gladden the hearts and promote the well-being of present and future generations. That's signed by the Mayor of Florissant, Timothy J. Lowry.
Thanks, Cheryl. I'd also like to introduce Virginia. She's the president of the Florissant Gardeners, and she's going to talk a little bit about the trees and who they're dedicated to.
Thank you, Kevin. Well, I'm glad to be here today to represent the Garden Club of Florissant, or the Gardeners of Florissant is our correct name. Don't want to confuse anybody. It should be correct. We are the Gardeners of Florissant, and we have been incorporated initially as the Men's Club in 1958. It was the Men's Garden Club in Florissant. In 1990, women started joining the organization, and the name was then changed to the Gardeners of Florissant. And we are celebrating our 65th anniversary this year. And we're going to do it at the Rose Garden, which is up by the Civic Center. And we're going to do that June the 5th at 6:30 at our meeting. So if anybody is available to come up and join us that evening, we would be more than happy to have you. The Rose Garden should be beautiful that day. June is always a good time for the roses. We also are going to have our plant sale, which is during the Valley of Flowers, and that is Friday, May the 5th, and Saturday, May the 6th, and we will be on the ice arena, so please feel free to come up and see what we have for sale and make a purchase. Supporting our sale is important because that's one way we raise money for donating these trees to the City of Florissant and in memory of our members who have passed on in the previous year. If by chance a member has not passed on, which is great, we usually find a reason to still donate 2 trees to the City of Florissant, whether we do it for the first line responders or during COVID, when all the healthcare workers were putting themselves at risk, we donated a tree for them. So, City of Florissant, we normally donate 2 trees to every year. Up by the Civic Center, there's at least 60 trees planted up there for our members, which is a pretty large number, I think. And then in the last couple of years, we've been planting trees other places. The City of Florissant, the park department, makes that decision where our trees are planted. I don't know how they make that decision, but turns out it was very lucky that we have ended up at Sunset Park today. I would like to introduce my other board members that I have with me briefly. Tony is our secretary, Kathy is a board member, and Peggy, who has been serving as our photographer, is our vice president this year. And for just a little historical knowledge, the first tree was planted in 1984. We have chosen a magnolia for our member Mary Lindsay Nelson, who passed away last year. We're honored to have her husband here with us this morning. And David, her husband, asked me to read a little bit about Mary. My personal comments about Mary is we called her Little Mary, a lot of us did, because she was not very big in stature, but she was a very sweet lady. Her sweetness extended for what she was missing height-wise, and she was also a lover of hot peppers, and so some of us referred to her about her hot peppers or talked to her about those. These words are from David. Mary loved flowers. She never saw one she did not want to take home. Mary loved trees. She turned a new home lot into a forest. Mary loved birds. They lived in her forest and dined on the seeds and the nuts she would feed them. Mary loved hot peppers. She never found one that was too hot to enjoy. Most of all, Mary loved people. She was always helping someone. Mary found her calling selling books, first as an assistant manager at Walton Borders in St. Louis Center, then at Northwest Plaza. She went on to be manager for the bookstore at the southwest terminal of Lambert Airport. When the bookstore closed, she returned to Lambert Airport gathering customer surveys for UMSL. She retired and volunteered at Coldwater Elementary School, Hazelwood, helping the young children to learn. Judy Plesky was another member of our club who broke our circle last year. We're pleased to have Judy's 2 children out of her 3 children here with us. We have Kathy, okay, and Michael. And each one of her one of her children was unable to come, Casey. We are very pleased to have them with us, and each one of her children wrote a little paragraph about their mother. The interesting part of us being at Sunset Park today, which I found out in reading through what they wrote about their mom, is they lived in one of the houses right over here next to the subdivision, next to the park. So this is kind of like coming to home for them. They played here a lot. They've got a lot of fond memories of being here with their mom, and apparently you'll find out part of those as I read. I think it's Michael's comments. It reads, "Hi, I am Kim, Judy's oldest daughter. I am so sorry I cannot be here today. I have a prior engagement. My fondest memory of my mom and gardening is her saying every year, 'You do not plant before Mother's Day.' That is a pretty good rule to go by. Then we discussed how nice the weather is, and she would say, 'Do what you want.' But I told you what they say. She was always right. I would pick Mom up on Mother's Day every year, and we would plant my flowers in my yard in pots. She usually would go back to the nursery for something, and we always came back with more than what we needed. A 5-minute trip would be a good half hour. We would get everything planted and watered, and we would sit down and admire our work and talk about what we planted. I sure will miss this on Mother's Day. Thank you for honoring my mom with her favorite type of tree, which is the white dogwood. I am Casey, Judy's second daughter, or Cassie. My fondest memory of my mom's gardening are that it was never ending. no matter what time of year. It was flowers and plants that made her so happy. Her knowledge of plants, and gardening was astonishing. She knew what would look good with what would go together. She had a gift. Mom was also there to lend a helping hand for my very own home. As you all know, she liked to spend other people's money. It was worth it, though. My beds and containers were magnificent once they were finished because of her talents. Thank you for being such a big part of my mom's life. She cherished the time she spent together with you. Planting the dogwood in her memory is a tribute to all who knew her. And then it says, "Hi, I'm Michael, Judy's son and third child. There are two memories of my mom, Judy, gardening to list. It was her passion, and she was thrilled to be part of the gardening club, where you all have the same desire. Planting a tree in her honor in Sunset Park is perfect, seeing how our first home backed up to the park where our whole family spent many years of our life. One of the best and the worst memories I have of my mom in Sunset Park is getting into her Mustang and going after our German Shepherd, who had jumped the fence, ran through the park, and into the river. Mom would go after them every time. Judy, Mom, is one of those people you never forget. She never forgot any of you and the friendship you shared. Together, all three of us remember her home filled with many plants, her porch covered with plants, and her lush backyard garden. The entire yard filled with all kinds of plants, all of the things that made her smile."
I just want to take the time to thank everybody for coming out today. We really lucked out on having a great weather day. Originally, we were talking about rain, so we're very happy that we're outside and we're dry and we're enjoying this great weather. So let's all grab a shovel and throw some dirt around our trees. Thank you.